Hi, I'm James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and you have come to Lighting the Way. Granny raps and she rocks, and she rolls. And what's the title of tonight's show?
Tonight's show is What Is It for the Highest Good of All? See, I'm reading it off his.
Oh, good.
This is what we need to do all the time.
So please chat with us. I'll be receiving the chats over on my screen, and she will also be able to see it and talk back to you and have a conversation.
I can't really see it. Sometimes I see the name. I can't see that well. But yeah, I will talk back to you. Yes, but mainly if you're live, I'll be able to talk to you live, and if you respond to us later, I'll answer you later.
Oh, yes, we already have a comment. Tracy says, hello, I hear James, but it sounds like Beth's microphone is not working. Oh, thank you, Tracy, for that heads up.
Okay,
And
Tracy.
Todd says the same. Hi, Beth and James. Can't hear Beth.
Okay, so I said hi. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and thank you, Tracy and Todd. We're a little bit off kilter tonight, and we'll explain in a minute. But thank you, because this was messed up, but it was very easy to fix. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm very excited to do this show tonight because it's a topic that I have been working on myself. So, life is full of so many stressors, right? So I'm looking at ways to reduce those stressors.
Good news. They're saying, yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy says it, and so does Todd.
Yeah.
And we have another comment. Hi, Beth and James. This is from Amy. Great. Now can hear Beth. Well, thank you so much for this topic. I was just talking about this very thing with a friend earlier today.
That's great. Well, the problem with the microphone was entirely mine. Because 2 minutes before the show was supposed to start, we were talking to our real estate agent because, 5 minutes ago, we got notified that these people accepted our offer, but they had changed something.
To purchase their house.
To purchase their house. And I had to say, oh my God, no, there's something wrong with this contract, and you have to fix this. And so anyway, that's what we were doing. And so by the time I ran over to the piano, I was nuts because we think we've bought a house, but we don't know if we bought a house. And then anyway, we haven't sold our house. So you see, we have been in the stress machine. Okay, now.
And how does this tie in with the topic? But is it for the highest good of all?
Well, see, this is really fascinating. So the people, we had to do what we call a contingency offer. That means we can't really buy their house unless we get a buyer for our house. So we haven't sold our house yet. Okay. Most people don't want to have a contingency offer. They want a buyer who comes in, who's already sold their house, and I don't blame them. I really don't blame them one bit, right? But as it happens, these people's house has been for sale forever. So it looked like something might work out. And of course, they got another offer at the same time. Now, I don't want to get into the details of our lives. You're probably bored silly already. But I'm trying to get to a point. I promise I'm going to get to a point. So we have been sitting here all day anxiously. First, we had to make the offer. We weren't even sure we should buy it, and then we decided to, and then we got it in at 1:30 exactly, just in the nick of time, and there was and then we have to sit there and wait, and they haven't answered us, and we know there's this another blah, 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 blah.
And our deadline for them to respond was 6 p.m., and
Right.
6 p.m. came and went, and then
Of
we
course.
got their response.
Of course. But my point is that we did not know how to relax during this. Now, this is a perfect example of something that you really want and how difficult it is to be calm and neutral when you really want something. So here I say, okay, James and I, here we've got a...
Oh, and we have another comment here Robbie says, hello, James, Maynard, and Beth. I'm watching from Kathmandu, Nepal.
Hello, Robbie.
Namaste.
Hello, namaste. Peace, peace. That's exactly what we're talking about. So, first, you're going to buy a house or marry a man or decide to take a job or something. This is a big deal, right? Big deal. So, you've got to really want it, right?
Sure.
You don't want to marry somebody if you don't really want it. You don't want to get a house if you don't really want it. So you've got to really want the thing in order to make the offer, right? I really want this. I really want this job. I'm applying for it. And oh, yes, and I'm going through all the paperwork and 17 interviews, and I've flown to California from Alaska and all of that to get this job, right? And then you're supposed to be, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Yes, I'm fine. I'm neutral. So you understand that is the problem when there's something like this. You know, if we don't really love the place, we're not going to make an offer. But if we really love it, how can we be neutral and sit there and say, it's perfectly fine if we don't get it? Okay, we have a message
And
from
Elizabeth is here, and she says hello and sends a heart of love and caring. Thank you,
hello,
Elizabeth.
hello. So I knew that it was going to be impossible to relax to the point of saying, well, I don't care, because that's stupid. If I didn't care, if we didn't care, why make it? You're spending 500,000 or 5 million. In our case, it's not 5 million, obviously, on something. You've got to really want it. So I tried to understand it in a different way. So anyway, it's like, I want it, I really love it. It's perfect. Now, first of all, we think back on all the other houses that we've tried to buy in our lifetime that we thought were perfect, and it turned out it was like, oh, that was the wrong house. Oh, no, that wouldn't have worked. Oh, so there's a lot of things that you realize later, in the moment you're like, oh, the guy, I love this guy, he's so wonderful. It is true that he's taking cocaine, but I mean, that's a minor detail. People, that's no big deal. See what I mean? So you try to ignore all the things that you don't want when you really want something, right? But now let's say you really feel this is the right thing. And finally, after 5 million guys that you've met or women that you've met or whatever others that you've met, that this is the one, and you really feel it, and you have that first phone call or you have this first date, and you don't know if they're ever going to want to see you again, and oh yes, I'm calm. So here's the answer. What is the answer? Okay, is to remember that everything needs to be for the highest good of all, including us. Now,
and you, by the way, passed that test very well, because you came around to saying, well, if it's for the highest good of all for the other party to have this, then I'm fine with that.
Well, it wasn't even that, but I agree with you. What I was actually focused on, but what you're saying is true too, is it had to be for the highest good of the seller. Now, let's say the seller, I'm using this as an example. I hope you don't mind when I give these specific examples, but
These are real life examples here and now.
yes, and people can relate to them. You might be looking for an apartment, and there are 6 applicants for the same apartment, So
Another opportunity to practice. Is this for the highest good of all?
practice. So what occurred to me is, if I were a seller, somebody who's going to sell a house, would I want to have a buyer who had not sold their house yet?
Not necessarily.
No. I wouldn't. I would much rather have a buyer who had cash,
Of course.
didn't need to sell a house,
Of
could
course.
sell their house later, or had already sold their houses. That would give me more a feeling of security. I want security, right? Security. I mean, we've all, I think about the poor seller. They've been on the market for like over 7 months, and they've gone through so much emotional upheaval. We've had like a week and we're already maniacs. So you think about the poor seller, and suddenly my gut started relaxing, because I thought, maybe it is not for their highest good to take our offer. We knew they had another one, but we didn't know what the other offer contained. We didn't know if that was really a better offer for them than ours. So
Right.
when we get into this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I need this, I love this. Oh, Todd has a comment.
Todd says, I like the real life examples. So relatable.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. So when I'm in the I want this, I want this, I want this mode, I want, let's say I'm looking for a job. I want those people to hire me. I'm hungry. I need money. My wife or husband or other, whatever, is bitching and moaning that I don't have a job and I need relaxation and I need to have it. I gotta have it. I gotta, or I'm gonna die, right? So here it is. Maybe you're a lousy candidate for the job. Maybe you really can't do the job. Maybe of course I was talking about I before, but maybe I can't do the job. Maybe my offer isn't going to meet the needs of the seller.
Right.
Maybe the guy that I've got my eye on would have a nervous breakdown if he tried living with me for 15 minutes.
Try 13 years.
Right? I'm not thinking about him. I'm thinking about, I want it, I want it, I want it. I want it, I want it, I want it. I've got to have it. I want it, I want it, I want it. Gotta have it, have it, have it, have it. My singing career has finally started.
Yes, indeed.
So there it is. So you understand what I'm saying? So I am not thinking about the other person. Not only am I not thinking about somebody else who might be making an offer, like maybe the other guy who's making an offer really should buy that house, it's better for him, right? But maybe for the seller, it would be better for them to take another offer. Okay, it looks like...
Oh, there's more. Amy says...
No, honey, she already said that. You went back too far.
That's right. She corrected herself.
Okay, keep going. Keep going, James. Keep going down the page.
Okay, let's go back down.
Yeah.
She said, oops, I meant here.
Oh, that was...
H-E-A-R
Okay,
instead of here.
yeah, that was just from... She's referring to
Okay,
the
got
comment
it.
she made before. Okay,
No, all clear.
all clear. So I started to think, maybe this isn't the right thing for them, and it isn't for the highest good of all. And that is so difficult to do. You know, it is so difficult to transcend the I want, I must have. Now, in our belief system, in our teachings, because I am a spiritual teacher, you may not think so because of the way I behave, but I am. And you know, I have a book called Living with Reality, which is a free download on our Healing Arts Network, and I think on bethgreen.org too, healingartsnetwork.org, and it's we've got that in the post in the description of the show. It's a free download, and it's a whole program of transformation. And in one of the sections, we talk about how to make decisions. And what we talk about is getting neutral and asking what is for the highest good of all, including me. Because some of us are always sacrificing for everyone else. That's no good. You have to include you, because if it's for the highest good of all, that includes you, right?
It does include.
All
includes
all
you.
includes you.
It's all inclusive.
But on the other hand, the highest good of all can't only be about me.
I beg your pardon.
And
Oh, wait. We have another comment.
oh, okay.
Okay, let's look at this here. It says, Amy says, I appreciate exactly what you're saying. I just met someone I find a real kinship with, and all of a sudden I'm in the I want him mode, which, as you say, is stressful. So I've
Yes.
been looking at it is for the highest good. Is it for the
Good.
highest good of all, including him and me? And I have completely relaxed about it,
Good.
including not worrying if he likes me as I am, instead of being concerned about what he will think of every little thing I do or say.
That's really good.
Well done, Amy.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, now let's go back because I think there may have been another comment after that. There is.
Oh, and then after that, Muhammad says, kindly give us some tips on how to relax, madam.
But that's
This
exactly
should help you to relax. Do that process.
this process that I'm giving you will help you to relax because I noticed that as soon as I started to think about the sellers and I thought about what they were going through and how it might be too painful or stressful for them to take our offer, or maybe they have a better one, and I started to care about them, something happened inside me. I automatically, as Amy was just saying in her excellent example, I just started to feel different. Because what was making me crazy was I must have. It's amazing. It really is amazing that it is that attitude, which is what most of us, at least here in this country, I don't know how it is in other countries, like that was from Muhammad. Muhammad is from Pakistan, right. And we have somebody from Kathmandu, from Nepal here today too. I don't know how your culture is, but in this culture, for sure, it's all about me. So nobody tells me that when I'm looking at a situation that I really need to be considering the needs of the other people, like the needs of the employer, whether or not they should hire me, or the needs of that other person, whether or not they should be in a relationship with me. Maybe there is something about me that would be bad for them. How do I know? And the moment that I started to think that way, the level of anxiety decreased. I'm not saying I wasn't stressed at all or anxious. We were waiting, are they ever gonna, they were meeting at 1:30 and we didn't hear anything until just, 3 minutes before the show. And then now we're trying to deal with a major, life event or just before we come on the air. But I was more relaxed than I was before. And that's how I realized and learned. And I wasn't doing it too relaxed. I did it, I made that shift in my thinking to care about the other people involved just because I knew it was the right thing and because it's my belief system.
And to check in, you checked in like what's for the highest good of all.
Yes.
And so you kind of surrendered to that.
Yes, I started to surrender to that. And the moment that I did that, I began to have faith that the universe was going to have to take care of everybody and not just me.
And the right thing would happen.
And the right thing would happen, whether I liked it or not. And right before I had that realization, interestingly enough, James and I have been trying to move to this place for like 4 years. We started
at the
city. We tried to move to that city before, and we couldn't find anything, and we ended up moving here where we live, and we have a wonderful place, and we're lucky and all of that. And then last year, we tried to sell this house and try again to move to that city, and we sold our house, and we found a place, and at the last minute, the buyers of our house dropped out.
To buy something else.
And they bought something else just after everything was ready to line up. So there was a lot of upset from the past. And we had to believe somehow that that was the right thing. And why do I have to believe that? Because otherwise I'm too upset. I don't even care if it's true. I don't want to be in the state of panic all the time about everything that I want. So So right before I had this realization about shifting into a different way of thinking about this real estate sale, um, I thought about all the houses that we had tried to buy last year and why they really were not good for every member of our family. This one was good for me, this one was good for James, maybe this one was good for the dogs, but it wasn't true. It wasn't good for all of us. And suddenly that started like percolating. Oh, now the house that we think we have bought today, that we may have bought, well, now we have to sell ours, but at least we may be going into contract on this house. We believe that it works for every one of us. I am not getting everything that I want. And I don't know if James is getting everything that he wants. But we realize that it works for me, it works for James, it works for the dogs, and it works for people who come to retreats and groups at our home. It works for everybody. And none of the other places would have worked for everyone. And I thought, oh, highest good of all. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, what about the sellers? And that's how the process happened. And it looks like Muhammad has another comment.
Yes, Muhammad says, relaxation is for some moments, and then we are driven into despair again, madam.
Well, I understand that. And you really have to keep refocusing on why are you stressing? What is it that is really making you stressed out? You know, sometimes it's something very deep and very hidden. It may not be the thing from that is obvious. You know, I don't know. James was very, very stressed this afternoon, and even when I kind of relaxed, he could not get relaxed. And I don't know why. And
well, we had a prospective buyer coming over to our place that we were hoping to sell. And I had a certain amount of anxiety of having us present our current home in the best light.
Okay, that's not it, James.
Okay.
We did not have a buyer coming over that we thought that we thought. The real estate agent already told us that the house was more expensive and larger than what they wanted. So I don't want to force them to buy my house either. If it's too much money for them or if it's too much house for them, I have to consider their needs too. Okay.
Oh, yes, we have another comment from Amy. When I look at life from the perspective from things are going to turn out the way they are supposed to, rather than necessarily the way I want them to, makes me not only feel more relaxed, but also not at fault for whatever happens.
That's a very, very good point.
Yeah, that's
now,
wonderful.
That is a really good point, because maybe going back to Muhammad's point, you know, you might feel like things going wrong are your fault, and maybe somewhere in your childhood, I'm not saying this is true for you, but maybe somewhere in your childhood you had an experience of being blamed for things that you couldn't help. So therefore, you're always on alert that if something goes wrong, that you're going to be blamed. And that's what's making you anxious. In other words, is it really losing the house that's making you anxious? Or is it really something going on inside you about that possibility?
Muhammad has another comment. Can marriage be a permanent solution to relaxation? And I am without marriage so far at the age of 50 years, madam.
No. Marriage is not the solution for relaxation. Trust me. Trust me. Now, in some ways
it can
it can
relaxation and peace if the two parties can come together in that way and stay that way.
Well, you can. It changes certain things. If you feel anxious because you are alone, then that might help you because you don't feel alone. On the other hand, the person you're married to and you might not really be in harmony, and then it's even worse than being alone.
Even less relaxation.
Yeah. So no, it's not an external thing, Muhammad. This is going to take some deep self-awareness of what you are really anxious about. And don't just believe that it's something external. Though, for example, James said, Oh, he was anxious because he felt like he had to get the house ready so they would buy it. When we already knew from the start that it was not likely that they would
Not
buy it,
likely, right.
right? So that was just something that he said because on the surface, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It appeared that way, just like for me. What was my anxiety? I know that the right thing has to happen, and I know it has to work for everybody. And I suppose on some level, I was giving up hope. So that may have been part of what was making me so anxious. But I do know one thing. I have to change my attitude. I have to start thinking about the highest good of all for every single person, man, woman, child, other, animal, plant involved. You know, let's say there's a beautiful property and we buy it and we don't know how to garden and we destroy this beautiful garden. What have we done? This is not for the highest good of that garden.
Oh, well, there it is.
See what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, the time is coming, is
Oh my God,
disappearing.
it's just about gone.
So I want to remind you that we are here every Wednesday night, and I with Granny lighting the way, Granny Raps and Rocks, and every time I'll talk about whatever feels right to talk about, and we love it when you come, and we love it when you make comments, and we love it when you give it a like or a love on Facebook, or you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And
Muhammad has another comment. Would that I were in your country in order to relax, madam.
oh, Muhammad, you think Americans are relaxed?
There's a
Oh,
lot of stress in this country.
oh my God, nothing like that. People in America are very tense, very keyed up, very
Again,
anxious.
it comes down to internally shifting what you experience.
Right. So I could speak about that for an hour, but I can't because we have to end. Now we want to remind you that tomorrow is,
Magical improvs.
and James and I will be improvising. He will sing and I will play the piano. And it's all music pretty much. So if that appeals to you, that's on at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday nights. And Lighting the Way is on Wednesday nights at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Please leave your comments. Would you please share this program with anyone who you think might find it interesting or you think needs to hear this message? And leave your comment later. Like the show or love it on Facebook. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to YouTube, don't forget to click on notification because that way you will be notified when we are here. So when we're live.
It's a notification bell.
It's
Just click on the image of the bell.
Right. So I'm going to just play for a moment. Hopefully, Muhammad, this will help create some peace. And I'll play for a moment and then we'll go and we'll see you tomorrow, we hope, or at
Yes.
least next time. May peace be with you. Slowly but surely, we change those parts of us that make us anxious and afraid. And remember that anxiety is just another word for fear. And we need to always ask ourselves, what is it that we are really afraid of in this situation? And I don't even have an answer to that for me today. But we've got to go.
Gotta go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. So glad to have you with us.
Right.
See you next time. Bye-bye.